5-hour train ride to the capital, going east, so heading to Tbilisi. By the looks of it, this might be a bit of an adventure, definitely something new for me. You see the train car over there for the passengers. And this little thing, which is longer than that train car, is the locomotive that will be pulling that car. So pretty old school. Here you can see the departures. So we're going in both directions, east and west. So east Tbilisi, and then west the Golden Coast of the Black Sea. So the resort town of Batumi. Quite an antique looking rail yard. Bit of rust on the hardware here, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright, now the security guy's telling me to stop filming. We're off on the Georgian railway. Bit of a run in there with the security guard at the station. I guess he didn't want me spying and stealing all that advanced technology. This train is pretty basic price. It's very cheap. But having seen this train a little bit, it's the general speed of travel. Probably wouldn't want to charge too much that day per the hour. Let's do a Georgian train toilet review. Because why not? Not a lot to do on this train. Nice little mirror right as we enter. Some sort of makeshift tap here. It works. It looks like it's garden supplies put together. Sanitizer, power outlet, and a toilet. Looks like some sort of torture device. It's got the pedal under it as well, and it does open up straight onto the tracks. I'll spare you from that visual. So yeah, come in here, spend some time, stretch your legs. And one of the features is the window, so you'll get a nice view of Georgian countryside. Made it to Tbilisi, capital of Georgia, or Sakartvelo as it's called locally. I found the worst place for an intro here, right on the side of an on-ramp, a lot of traffic. I'm just gonna continue down here, hopefully get to the city center and see something a bit more scenic. Pretty treacherous here. This is not a good idea. Just standing right next to these two of the newly built skyscraper hotels here, right outside the Radisson Blu. These used to be called the Hotel Iberia, which was used as accommodation for Georgian refugees fleeing from the north of the country, the northwest. So yeah, it's had a definite facelift. Things are happening in this city. But never mind that. They have a freaking Wendy's here. We don't even have those in Europe. So yeah, putting us to shame at the moment. We have arrived in the northwestern part of the city. Plan is to go take a look at a bit of an architectural curiosity in this part of town. It's a Soviet-era housing complex. There should be 3 high-rise buildings And the thing that makes them a bit unique is that they were connected by sky bridges. So let's go and locate them and see if we can go up in the elevator. We are going up. Not very high tech. There's an old lady downstairs that operates it. You drop 20 equivalent of cents in that box. And I think she has to do it manually pressing sort of button. Let's see what we find at the top here. Look at this. A veritable sky bridge. We'll walk through there later, but you can see that it just continues right through these buildings, or rather one building, so in total there should be 3 of them. And here you get a great view of the surrounding. This feels like a very residential area. Hutkas Machna. And here you can see that the bridge alternates on which side of the building, or the buildings rather, alternate the position. So here it's shifted the other way. Found some prime real estate, if anyone's in the market. It's the Hutkas Machna Mat for rent. Set up shop here, sell some single cigarettes, Lucy's. And here we are. These buildings were constructed in the mid 1970s. The plan was that it was supposed to be part of a larger master plan in this part of town. As you can see around here, the surrounding area is very hilly. So the ingenious idea with these bridges was that it would connect the bottom with the houses up on top of the hill. Make the whole area more accessible, so bring up your shopping, whatever. Kids had to go to school, they could safely do so. So 3 buildings were built here, and originally they were supposed to build many more. Who knows what happened with that, but that fell through. In this neighborhood you can see that it's the prefabricated slab model of construction that reigns supreme. All up and down here and up and down the hill. I can imagine this was probably a bit of fresh air for the locals here. It has some similarities obviously with general Soviet construction, but with these sky bridges it does add a unique aspect to it. Probably felt a bit high-tech and futuristic at that time as well. It's like the Georgian Jetsons up here. And this also has a bit of more ornate decoration on it with these holes. Feels very Arabic, I would say. So this is procedure. 20 tetri into the metal box. Press 1. No elevator music. is used by the residents here, so I want to keep the price down. It is a public walkway up there as well, so it's not private. Well, that's not going to work. Interesting find out here in the suburbs of Tbilisi. And you can see here on the lower building, it had wood paneling on the outside. So again, little features here and there made it a bit unique from anything else on offer. All right, let's head east towards the center of town. Made our way back to the city center here. We just walked past the site of a former cable car station. We saw that they were doing work on it now, but it hasn't been in operation since June 1st, 1990, when a terrible accident took place there. There was an issue with the hauling rope that also broke off, resulting in both of the cars on the cable just zooming down full speed. One of them ended up crashing into that lower station. 19 people died that day. Most of the victims were school children visiting the capital on a field trip. Just 2 years prior, in 1988, the cable car had been renovated and modernized, and this included switching out the old Tbilisi locally manufactured gondola or car to a newer one and a bigger one that could hold more passengers. It turned out that the new cars were not quite compatible with the existing infrastructure, and it resulted in them sort of randomly braking during the ride. So the maintenance crew had to manually go and turn off the brake. After a few of these mishaps, they just figured, let's turn off the emergency brake to get rid of that hassle. So on the day of June 1st, 1990, when the passengers were trying to pull the emergency brake to get the car to stop, nothing happened. Yeah, quite dark. But here's a cat on a roof. All right, lighten the mood a bit. Back in the day, you would have had a few cable car stations in the city, and you have them still today, obviously with the latest technology, and as we saw there, a new one is on the way. Heading up on the hillside here. It's the older part of town. Got the cobbled streets. Architecture here is much more eclectic. It's you can see sort of the different layers of how it's been built. The original buildings, and then you built on balconies, things like that. Some of them look like they might fall on you. But yeah, it's cool. There's definitely been a revival in this part of town where you see smaller businesses, sort of trendy natural wine bars, which this country's famous for, or sort of coffee shops which have opened up in just a basement. Makes it feel like a makeshift solution, but cool nonetheless. And then mixed in with these solid mansion style buildings. Walking around up here, you also notice a lot of sort of graffiti, street art that's pro-Ukrainian, pro-peace, I guess. And with that, also anti-Russian. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, many Russians fled the country in fear of being mobilized, sent to the front line. Many of them ended up here in Tbilisi. That obviously changed the city. There was a big influx of Russians, which obviously changed the demographics of the town. It changed the economy. It changed the economics of living here. So, looking at the negative sentiment, of course, many of them anti-war, understandable. But I would guess that being directly affected when they're in your backyard, so to speak, also plays into that. The difficult history between the two countries probably doesn't help. Needless to say, very complicated issue, but it's very palpable walking around the city, at least some parts of it. We have arrived in the ancient part of town, which used to and still does house all the thermal bathhouses. Places where you would come, get a soak and a scrub. And legend has it that this is actually where the city was founded. An ancient king was here hunting, and he came across these thermal springs coming out of the ground. And he decided to, it was like an early developer, cut down the trees here, the forest, and started developing a city. And in this part of town, you see just how old Tbilisi is and how multi-ethnic the population has been throughout history. It's hard looking at the architecture around here to pinpoint any single style. You can really find all kinds of architectural styles and aesthetics around here. Ubiquitous street dogs all over the place. You can see that they're tagged. They have like a yellow tag on their ears. So, like everyone else, the government got to them, keeping track. The evening has fallen on Tbilisi. The street lights just came on. We're gonna cross the main river here. I should know the name by now. I'll put that in post. A lot of traffic in this city. Wide streets, hard to cross at times. So you have these cool underpasses. With the obligatory graffiti. We got some sort of a photography exhibition. Powerful images, funeral, depressed child, the weekend warriors, the lads. Very lively town. Any hour of the day, really. But yeah, temperature's been really high, so I guess people are looking forward to the cooler weather in the evening. Come out for some dinner. Just caught that one off camera. It's very religious country, something I haven't really noticed, at least before in other places. People do the cross, and usually it's when you for example, past a church, or you see taxi drivers do it as well. When they drive past the church, many of them at least will do the cross, which is interesting. Very clean, common theme. Graffiti, street art down here. Seems like it's respected as well, so it's not all tagged over. Some deep philosophies up there on the marquee, and two pianos down here. Nicely lit up, all very civilized, peaceful, walking around here, even in the evening. And here is some sort of timeline of the nation of Georgia, 1801. And for this country, that is not a long time ago. Well, let's see what we have. We got let's get the cliff notes. Annexation. Suppression. The Russian Empire conquered and abolished the kingdom of Imereti. A lot of different kingdoms, kings. When you're doing the Wikipedia history research, it's very hard to keep track. It's such a long, rich history. Got a couple hot takes here. Abolition, another suppression down there. So yeah, a lot has been happening in the region for a long time. Let's see if we can find the latest one, 2008. Any good news? No, obviously not. What am I saying? 2008, Georgia. The war against Georgia, the region of Kutaisi, Russian aggression. That was obviously when the Russian forces went in. Yeah. Up in the, what's it, in the central north part of the country. Took a big chunk there. One of these weird autonomous regions not recognized by most countries, probably a couple. Russian allies, just to be in the good graces of the Russian Federation usually, really.